Здравствуйте, and welcome to this second basic Russian lesson. If you haven't yet watched the first basic Russian lesson, then I recommend you go back and watch that one before you commence this second lesson. So in the first lesson, we managed to master a third of the Russian alphabet, learn a couple of grammatical rules, and begin to construct our first Russian sentences. Now, some of you have sent me examples of the flashcards that you've made, so I'd like to just highlight the importance of making flashcards when you're trying to learn a language, and to try and keep those flashcards very simple. So here's an example. So this is the letter U. So on this side, I've written the Russian letter U, and on the back of the card, I have written U. And so when I'm testing myself on this, if I think, oh, what's that in Russian? Ooh, I know that straight away. Then I put this card to the back of the pack and I won't see it again for a while. But if I think, oh, what was that one? It's E. No, it's ooh. Then I get it, but not as quickly. And so what I do is I put that in the middle of the pack there. But if I said this one, I know it's not a Y in English, I think it's an M, and then I look and I've got it wrong, then I put it just a couple of cards back so it comes up very soon. Okay, so the next one, what's this one? This is it looks like a pie, so therefore it's a P. Oh yes, it is, but I had to think about it a bit, so I'm going to put that back in the middle there. This one, this says Moskva, which I know means Moscow. I got that on quite well, so I'm going to put that near the back. Oh look, here's this strange one again. I remember that's U, and so on. Okay, and if you repeat that process and you make yourself a large deck of cards to go through, then it will really help you to pick up the Russian alphabet and learn vocabulary and grammatical rules as well. So as we go through this video, then maybe make yourself a set of cards as we go through. If you don't have cards like this, maybe post-it notes will be handy, or tear up bits of paper. I'm sure you can be resourceful. Okay, so we'll start with a quick recap on what we did in the first video. And as I go through these letters, I'll put them up on the screen, see if you can remember what they are, and then I'll tell you. Okay, so I'll pause slightly after each one. So this is A, just like an English A. O, just like an English O. T, just like an English T. M, just like an English M. And remember when you write it to make the tops pointy. K, works just like an English K. U, V, so it looks like a B, but it acts like a V in Russian. R, so like an R, but a little bit more of a roll in it, like as the French use it. C, or an S in English. D, or D in English. L, or an L in English. P, or a P in English. E, that sort of hard E sound in English. And we looked at these words using those letters. So kot, which means cat. Tam, over there. Most means bridge. Toot, which means right here. Vot, here is, as in voila in French. Karta, which means a map. Moskva, which means Moscow. And you remember I said because the second syllable is one that's stressed, that first O is pronounced as an A. So Moskva. More about stresses later on. Da, which means yes. Dom, which means house. Lampa, which means lamp. Eta, this is. So the stress this time is on the E, so the O again is pronounced as an A, so eta. Slova, which means word. Stool, which means chair. Stol, which means table. We also looked at these Russian grammatical rules. So first of all, there's no verb to be in Russian in the present tense. So if I want to say I am a teacher, in Russian I would say I teacher. Я учитель. Second grammar rule we looked at is there's no article in Russian, so there's no a or the. So you just say, instead of a cat in Russian, you just say kot. Instead of the cat in Russian, you just say kot. And then we looked at constructing sentences. So sentences like вот дом, which means here is the house. Stool там. The chair is over there. Da, most тут. Yes, the bridge is right here. So what I want to learn today is some more letters and some more grammatical rules. So we're going to look at some letters which have a sound which is familiar to us in English, but the character representing it is different, and it might be a completely new character to us. So this character here is a B, acts as a B in just as the English B. Okay, so B. This looks like a back to front. It looks like a 3. But if you think as well, it also looks like a very flowing Z. Gives you a clue to the sound. So this is a Z, which acts like a Z in English. Z. This character is a G, so that hard G sound in English. G. This character is a N, an N. So even though it looks like an H, in Russian it's an N. And those of you who know your Greek or your maths will know that this is a phi, and in Russian it is an F, a F, and works just like an English F. It's not a very common letter in Russian. It's usually used in more modern words in the language. So if we put these letters together with some of the ones that we know already, we have this word here, which is pronounced brat. And brat is a very appropriate word because it means brother. Gazeta. Gazeta means newspaper. Plan. And plan means a plan. Frase. And frase means a phrase. We're now going to look at some more characters in Russian, which actually represent a couple of letters in English. So with English, we adopted the Latin alphabet, and it wasn't especially designed for English. So when we have these sounds, which there's not actually a letter to represent, we put two letters together. This is called a digraph. So if we think about ch, the sound ch is an English word, as in church, but we use two letters to write it, ch. So this is a digraph. Now, this is one of the wonderful things about Russian, because St. Cyril specially designed the alphabet for the Russian language, that we don't get these digraphs in Russian. We get one character which represents the sound. So even though it might be two letters in English, it's only ever one letter in Russian. So this character here, which looks like a back to front M, is pronounced E, as in meat. So in English it's two letters, an E and an E, but in Russian it's just this one character, E. This character is pronounced H. So in English we might think about or in Scottish think of the word loch. It's that kind of sound, a H. So when we write loch, we write as a ch, but in Russian there's just one character, so loch. Now, this character, which looks like an English E, is actually pronounced ye, so like a Y and E together in English, as in yet, or yesterday, or yeti. So this is a ye. But when you see this character with two dots on the top, like a German umlaut, it's actually pronounced yo, the yo sound in yogurt or yonder. So let's see those letters in action. So here we have the E and the ye, and this is in the word Leningrad. Leningrad is, of course, Leningrad, which is what St. Petersburg used to be called during the time of the Soviet Union. St. Petersburg is the second biggest city and second most important city in Russia after Moscow. Here we have the H sound, so this is hor. Hor. So hor is Russian for choir. And here we have the yo sound, so this is pronounced myod. Myod is one of my favourite Russian words, actually. I'm not sure why, but it means honey. Myod. So here's our third Russian grammar rule. So we already know that there's no at or the in Russian. There's no verb to be in the present tense. And our third grammar rule is how to ask a question, an interrogative statement. And in Russian, you don't change the word order. So in some languages, like French, for example, you change the word order, or you add a phrase to make the question. But in Russian, you don't do this. You just need to change your intonation. So how you say the word, you don't need to change the word order or anything else. You just need to put a question mark at the end of the statement. So, for example, if I said "это мёд," then that would just mean this is honey. But if I change the way I say it and go up at the end, just like you do in English, I say "это мёд," "это мёд," then it turns it into a question. "Это мёд?" "Да." "Это мёд." So "это мёд?" Is this honey? "Да." "Это мёд?" Yes, it's honey. Это Leningrad. Это Leningrad. Нет. Это Москва. Это Leningrad. Это Leningrad. Нет. Это Москва. So, is this Leningrad? No, it's Moscow. So there we have it. There's an extra few letters for you. We're now 2/3 of the way through the Russian alphabet. It's not too complicated, is it? And we found out how to ask a question in Russian. I want to show you this text. So this is an extract from a book that I learned Russian from, which is this one here, the Penguin Russian Course by Fennell. It's a very old book. I'm not sure it's still in print. But I'm just going to read this to you. And as I go through, you'll notice on this text there are little ticks on some of the words. Now this is the stress. This is where the stress lies. Now, usually when you write in Russian, you don't write a little accent like this to show where the stress is. Usual text doesn't have it at all. You just need to learn it. And as you get into the rhythm of talking Russian or of listening to Russian, you'll pick up the stress eventually. But it's a very good idea from the start to try and learn where the stress lands on a word, because as we've seen, it changes the pronunciation of some of the letters, particularly the vowels. After I've read it, I'm going to pause for a second, and what I suggest you do then is you stop the video and see if you can translate this text into English, and then at the end I'll tell you what it means in English. Okay? So, what dom? What most? Dom tam. Most тут. Dom tam? Da. Dom tam. Most тут. Da. Most тут. What? Stol, stool, lampa. Tam karta и доска. Это карта. Тут Москва. Там Волга. Тут слово лампа. Это вода. Это мост и дом. Там стул, стол и парта. Стол тут. Stool tam. Now there are a couple of words in there which we haven't come across yet. So the E, when it's just on its own, as in tam karta I doska, means and. Okay, so and. A doska is a border, a blackboard. And Volga is the name of a large and important river in Russia called the Volga. So I'll just read that to you again. Вот дом, вот мост. Дом там, мост тут. Дом там? Да, дом там. Мост тут? Да, мост тут. Вот стол, стул, лампа. Там карта и доска. Это карта. Тут Москва. Там Волга. Тут слово лампа. Это вода. Это мост и дом. Там стул, стол и парта. Stol тут, stool tam. The word vada there, I just noticed we haven't looked at either, and that means water. And if you put a K in it, it spells the word vodka, which means little water. So vada is water. And you'll see how Russians write quotation marks as well in this text by putting a couple of chevrons there. So I'll just be quiet for a second, just give you a chance to pause this whilst you try and translate this into English. And then when you unpause it, I will translate it into English for you. So, translation of this is, here is a house, or here is the house. Here is a bridge, or here is the bridge. The house is over there. The bridge is right here. Is the house over there? Yes, the house is over there. Is the bridge here? Yes, the bridge is here. Here is the table, the chair, and the lamp. Over there is the map and the blackboard. This is the blackboard. Here is Moscow. Over there is the Volga. Here is the word lamp. This is water. This is a bridge and a house. Over there is the chair, the table, and the school desk. The table is here and the chair is over there. So I hope that has helped you learn a little bit more Russian, a few more Russian letters, a bit more Russian grammar. I recommend that you go back over this video and watch it again to ensure that you are embedding those new Russian letters into your memory, and hopefully you're making flashcards as well to run through and to get other people in your household to test you and share in your learning. До свидания.